Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you can create a VPC private link. Okay, so my architecture would be like uh, here. I have one AWS account where my client machine is running, which will access the MySQL, and the MySQL is running in another AWS account in RDS. Okay, so we are going to implement this scenario. Okay, and EC2 instance where the MySQL client is running will access the MySQL running in another AWS account using VPC private link, and the network will the traffic will flow using AWS network. It will not flow from internet. It is going to flow from AWS backed network. So the components we are going to use is network load balancer, RDS, and EC2 instance, which is a client machine, and another EC2 instance. It will act as a MySQL administrator server. Okay, so let's quickly create this architecture. Let's implement this. So I have one AWS account. Close it. I have one AWS account here and the another AWS account is here. So I'm in my first AWS account. Let's create a VPC. Let's say DB VPC. I'm going to give it a CIDR 10 13, or you can say 10 14 0 0 slash 16. Okay, I'm going to create that VPC. Action, enable this checkbox. I'm going to create a subnet. Let's call, I'm going to select VPC. Let's call it public subnet. I'm going to use it to provision a EC2 instance which will work as an administrator server for MySQL. Okay, I'm going to use US is 2A here. I'm going to give 10.14.0.0 slash 24. I'm going to add another subnet, DB subnet 1. I'm going to give it US is 2A 10.14.10 slash 24. I'm going to add another subnet, DB subnet 2. Let's say this time US is 2B 10.14.20 slash 24. Okay, let's quickly. Okay, here I have made a mistake slash 24. So all of my subnets are created. I'm going to create public, I'm going to select public subnet and I'm going to make it auto assign public IP enable true. Okay, so now what we are going to do is I'm going to create a internet gateway. Let's say db admin igw. Let's quickly create it. I'm going to attach it to a VPC. This one. I'm going to create a route. I'm going to create two route. Public route. I'm going to attach it. Okay, I'm another going to let create a route db. We can say dbrt database route. I'm going to create it. Okay, so public route I'm going to associate one subnet, public subnet only. Okay, and its route will be, I'm going to show it's the path of internet using internet gateway. Now it's okay. I'm going to associate db subnet into that subnet, route table, and I'm not going to give any route. I want my MySQL to be fully isolated. Even this server can't reach internet as well. Okay, so my subnet, my VPC networking part is completed. Now I'm going to create a virtual machine in public subnet. Yeah, I'm launching. Uh, this time I'm going to launch a Windows machine. let's say t3.medium. I'm going db vpc us is to a public subnet. It's auto assign public IP is enabled. Let's add a storage. Let's say 30 GB. Name db server admin. Okay, configure security group. I'm going to create the server admin sg. Okay, and its RDP is open from, the remote desktop protocol is open from everywhere. I'm going to launch this. I'm going to I have already created a key here, DB server admin, so I'm using it. I'm going to launch it. So you can see here, if it's in pending state, let's quickly refresh this. Now it's running and initializing. Now let's go to RDS. Let's quickly create a parameter subnet group. Sorry, create subnet group DB. MySQL. Okay, I'm going to copy it and paste it here. I'm going to choose VPC availability zone 2A and 2B. Okay, so 2B here, and this subnet I'm going to select and I'm going to create it. Now the DB subnet is created. Okay, if I go here, it's my DB subnet 1 with ID 1D and DB subnet 2 with ID 02. So if you see 1D and 02. Okay, now go to database, create database, standard. I'm going to select MySQL. I'm going to select MySQL 5.7.34 here. I'm going to call it dev test. DB server test. I'm going to use extension. Okay, in bus table, I'm going to select db.t3.medium general purpose. I'm not going to use enable scaling. It's just a demo. I'm using do not create a standby instance. I'm going to create a single instance of MySQL. I'm going to select VPC. I'm going to this one. It's no. I'm going to create a new security group. Yeah, I'm going to give preference to A. It will be required. This is the main part I'm going to use. US is to A. Additional configuration is port. Additional configuration, let's say first. Okay, and the parameter group is 5.7. That's it. Optional group is here. I'm not going to enable backup, encryption, performance, monitoring, maintenance. Okay, one more thing I want to see. Yeah, it's the DB subnet group here. Yeah, let's create this DB. Yeah, it will take some time. So in that time, let's go to our EC2 instance. Instance is running. I'm going to connect it. I'm going to use RDP client. going to download it. DB server admin RDP. I'm going to get a password. This key here. I'm going to drag it here. Oops, sorry, it's not taking it. And I'm going to browse desktop. MySQL, sorry, SQL software, and I'm going to decrypt it. This is my DB password. Yeah, or we can say it might be admin. Okay, and DB admin server is this password. Let's go to here. I have downloaded this file. I'm going to open it. Let me pause. Here is my DB server admin RDP file. I'm going to select it, connect, and it is asking me for the password. I'm going to give that password which I decrypted from the PAM file. Yes, don't ask me. Let's go to our RDS instance. See, yeah, it will take time. It will take time. Let's say it will take 2 minutes. Here is my DB instance. Let's create it. Let's see the status. First, it is creating here. So let's go inside it. Refreshing that page. Yeah, you can see here the security group. Yeah, it's I'm going to add one more security group. MySQL. I'm going to say 10.14.0.0/16. I'm going to give my CIDR of my VPC. Okay, I'm saving that rule. Okay, let's go quickly go to RDS and see if it is provisioned or not. Yeah, it's available now. I'm in my RDS instance. I'm going to copy a software, paste it here. Yeah, the software is copied in that machine. I'm going to install it. Here it's installed. I'm opening it. Yeah, I'm going to create a new connection, MySQL. Let's say server account 1, and I'm going to get the host name from DB server. It's my host name. The port is 3306. The user is admin, and I have set the password. I'm going to enter it. Yeah, the test connection is successful, and now we can see my first DB here. Okay, so the MySQL part is completed. I'm going to create a network. I'm First of all we need to see the ENI, I mean interface of that DB server. I'm going to EC2. I'm going to network interfaces. You can see this is my network interface. I'm going to grab it IP 10.14.0.35. No, this is not, I mean DB server. DB server is this one. Sorry, I'm going to grab it private IP. This one. Okay. Now I'm going to create a load balancer. I am using network load balancer. NLP. It will be internal. VPC is DB VPC. I'm going to select this subnet, public subnet. Okay, the port will be let's say 3306. Forward to, I'm going to create a new DB group. I mean the target group. It would be instance. This time I'm going to select it IP address because I know the IP address. The protocol will be TCP. The port will be 3306 here. DB VPC. Health check. Next. Target group name I'm going to DB TG. Next. Enter IP. Include. Sorry. Include as below. I'm going to create a target group. Okay. So if I click it, its target is unused now. If I go to load balancer again, refresh it, now I can select it. I'm going to create a load balancer. Now I'm going to see load balancer, it is in provisioning state, and if I go to target groups, if I select it, it is initializing. I'm going to pause that video because it takes around 5 to 6 minutes to get the healthy status. Now it's in healthy state, as you can see here. Okay, now my load balancer is completed. Now what we are going to create is we are going to create an interface for it. Okay, so let's go to endpoint service, create endpoint service. As you can see, here is my DB network load balancer with US is to A. Okay, I'm going to accept required. Okay, so let's quickly tag it. Create it. So as you can see, it's available now. I'm going to allow a whitelist principal. Okay, so for this I need a account name. Copy it from here. I have written somewhere this. I have to change it. I'm going to copy it and paste allowed principal. Okay, my load balancer is this allowed principal. I don't have any endpoint connection now. Now I'm going to switch to my second AWS account. I'm in my second AWS account. So I'm using the default VPC in this account. There is no need to create a VPC for a new VPC for this demo. Okay, I'm going to use the existing ones. I'm going to create a endpoint here. Create endpoint. Now this time I'm going to use find by service. Okay, the service name would be, I will get it from here. This is my service name. I'm going to copy it to clipboard, verify, and you can see service name found. VPC is default. Okay, US is 1A, and the security group is this one, SG069800. Okay, I'm going to create endpoint. So the endpoint is created, but it's in pending state. So let's go to our first account. If I click it, I'm going to accept it. So it's in pending state. It will take around 1 to 2 minutes to be in available state. So as you can see here, it's in available state now. I have to click accept endpoint connection request and it's in available state. Now let's go to our second AWS account, and if I refresh this, I can see it's in available state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new EC2 instance in US East 2A region. Oh sorry, US East 2A availability zone. I'm going to launch. I'm going to again launch a Windows server. Yeah, I'm going to use t3.medium. US East 2A I'm selecting. I'm going to give it name DB client this time. Okay, so create a new client security group, or we can use the existing one. Okay, let's quickly get the security group from endpoint itself. Okay, so if you go in VPC, here it's my endpoint, and the security group associated with it is 277. So I'm going to use it as it is. I'm going to review and launch. I'm going to create a new key pair. Let's say DB client key pair. I'm going to download it and I'm going to launch that instance. New instance. It's in pending state. Now it's initializing. So what we have to do is we have to go its security group, which is a default security group. I'm going to add another inbound rule. This time it's RDP. is I'm going to use anywhere. So I'm anywhere so that we can RDP into that virtual machine. I'm editing it. Let's go to instances. I'm going to connect. I'm going to download its RDP as well. Earlier, this is where I have created running a virtual machine in AWS account 1 where my RDS is running. Now I'm going to get its password. I'm going to choose a file, this PC desktop, SQL software, DB client key, decrypt, copy it, its DB client password. Okay, so this is my DB client server. Let's quickly log in into that server as well. It's my RDP for that server. I'm going to connect it. And the password is this one. Don't ask me. Yes. Now I'm in EC2 instance, or it's a client MySQL. It's a MySQL client server. It's got created. I'm going to again copy that same software in this so that we can make a connection of MySQL. I'm going to paste it here. So it's copied. I'm going to install it. Finish. Now it's my client machine. Okay. How will get the IP address of MySQL? I mean, what would be the endpoint of MySQL? So I am in my secondary account. I'm in AWS client account. Okay. So if I go to, let's say VPC, oops, it's got sign out. I'm going to log in again. Yeah, I'm in VPC. Let's go to endpoints. Here you can see the subnet, and I'm getting this IP from here. I'm going to copy it. Let's quickly create a new MySQL connection and say DB server from client. I'm going to give it that IP. The port is this one. The user is admin, and I'm entering its password, and let's see if it's working. Okay, it's showing me some error. Now I'm in my first AWS service. I'm going, uh, let's see what is it saying. MySQL admin plus host. It is showing me error unlock with MySQL admin plus host. Let me Google it. I haven't seen that error before. Let's see if it's working or not. Yeah, the connection is successful, and if I go here, as you can see, I am in client machine and accessing MySQL RDS from that instance. Okay, so might be this is the scenario when I'm getting this error because it's the target group which is hitting MySQL regularly to check whether it is up or not. Okay, so here it's my admin server. So let's create a database server admin. Okay, so now it's created, and if from client machine I am refreshing that, it's see server admin here. So this is how we can use VPC private endpoint to create MySQL connection using AWS network. Okay, so if I go in my slide, here is my EC2 client, I mean MySQL client, it's my endpoint I have created. So what I have created in front of it is, let's quickly move it some here, and if I do this one, and if I, sorry, if I do a little here, and if I make a, let's quickly delete it. If I move it here, so I have to delete it. Yeah, and if I do this much of editing here, I don't know why it is not. if I make a note of it. Yeah, it's similar to this architecture. It's my client machine, it's my VPC endpoint. Here I have created an EC endpoint service backed by NLP, and it's my RDS instance, EC2 instance. Here it's my admin. So if I route it here and make it this one, so this architecture we have implemented it now. Okay, so and this, I mean, the flow is from VPC backed network, not from internet. Okay, so I hope this video is informative for you. Thank you.